Hey everyone, welcome to your next video. In this section, we are going to go over how to explain your experiences within your LinkedIn profile. So we're going to jump right in with best practices. So LinkedIn provides you with the opportunity to list a couple different experiences. So work experience is one of them, obviously. And this is just a note for future you, but this is where your clinical experience will go once you've started to accumulate some of your clinical opportunities. So you can imagine that the work experience section is also a clinical experience section for you as a nursing student. You can also have the opportunity to write information about volunteer, information about your education, and information about projects or publications that you have experience completing. Just like the resume, when you're writing about experiences, you want to make sure that you're using keywords and numbers to attract recruiters and also highlight the scope of your work. You want to give examples that demonstrate your abilities and your impact. You want to highlight your achievements. And on the LinkedIn profile, you can write this information in a narrative, or you can use a bullet point format just like your resume. The experiences section isn't something that you need to worry about too much at this stage in your journey. You know, you guys just arrived here at Widener. You're probably working really hard in your classes and just trying to get your feet under you, and that's totally fine. The experiences section is a little bit more for future you. And we're just going through this now just to make you aware that this is a section, or these are sections that you should be filling out in your LinkedIn profile. But again, it's for future you. For now, just having a headline and an about section and listing Widener as your education will be more than enough to begin using this platform for learning and networking purposes. I'm going to breeze through this part kind of quickly because, again, this is for future you, and I'm not going to read this entire example, but a good outline to follow when you are highlighting an experience on your LinkedIn profile. And again, this can be a work experience, a volunteer experience, a student leadership experience. You want to kind of explain the general responsibilities that you had in that role. Then you want to go on to highlight key or unique accomplishments, projects, and skills that you learned. And lastly, you want to explain why you enjoyed this type of work, if applicable. So if you had a job and you learned really valuable skills, but you didn't necessarily love the job, you can just skip that part. The example on the previous slide, I'll just go back really quick. This is an example of the paragraph format. This is an example of what a bullet pointed format could look like on LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't allow you to do a bullet, so you can separate your statements by spacing, or you could use like an asterisk on the keyboard. So if you hit Shift 8, that could kind of signify a bullet point as well. I just wanted to put this here just to give you an example of what a bullet point experience could look like. These are just some guiding questions you can use to compose the content in your experience section. You don't have to answer all of these questions. You just have to answer the ones that apply to you. But these are, again, good. If you just free write to answer some of these questions, the content that comes out of your free write will be helpful to use when composing the section. So I'll just read these questions out loud. What are my overarching day-to-day responsibilities in this role? How do these responsibilities align with the role I'm pursuing? Consider only focusing on the responsibilities that align with your future goals. In what ways did I help this employer the most? What accomplishments would I like to highlight in this role? What industry-specific keywords should I include in the description of my work? How did I do this job more uniquely than someone else in the same role? Why do or did I enjoy my work? So these are really helpful questions for those of us that are listening that have had previous careers. Like before I became a career counselor, I was a film editor, believe it or not. If I were to add film editing to my LinkedIn profile or to my resume even, I would really only add the skills and experiences that I gained from film editing that would apply to my work as a career counselor. So I would encourage you to do the same. If you had what I call a previous work life and you feel that you learned skills that are that a recruiter or a hiring manager should know that you have, then I would add that experience to your LinkedIn profile, but I would only focus on the nursing transferable skills that you learned from that experience. All right, that ends the experiences section. The next video is going to be about my favorite part of LinkedIn, which is LinkedIn's networking capabilities.